Hi everyone, this is Judith Littlejohn. I'm your instructor for HIS 102. I just want to talk to you for a few minutes about your research paper so you have a good understanding of what the expectation is before you start the project. So if you go to the Start Here page or your initial landing page for the course, you can see over here in the side menu on the left the research paper info section. As each piece of the research paper becomes due or is assigned to you, you'll see them pop up right here in the research paper info section. But for now, it defaults to that top piece that says research paper information. Okay, so click on that and you'll see this page. The purpose of the research paper is to meet course student learning outcome number 12. Formulate, organize, and defend an historical argument regarding a distinctive feature of a post-1550 non-Western civilization in a written or oral presentation in Chicago format, based upon library research involving a minimum of 3 scholarly resources, utilizing a minimum of 1 online full-text source. And this is for critical thinking and information management. What all that means is you have to find a subject you're interested in, something or a civilization or an artifact from after 1550 AD, and it has to be non-Western, which means not European, not Anglo-American. It could be Indigenous American, Asian, African, any place else, just not from Western Europe and not Anglo-American. So the University of Chicago format that you use is something we're going to work on a little bit as we go throughout the course. There is some information in the course menu to help you with that, and also I'll give you pointers on that as we go along. Your scholarly sources have to be books or articles. You can find them online or you can find them in the library. You cannot use your textbook, you cannot use Wikipedia, you cannot use about.com or any online encyclopedias. So those are all off limit. I'll show you as we go along here where you can find resources that are acceptable. Your task here, or what your mission is to choose your topic, think about a point you want to share about it or an argument you want to defend, and focus your research on that. For example, if you are interested in fabrics or textiles, you could argue that Chinese silk had a greater impact on trade or on fashion than Egyptian cotton, and look for articles and books that discuss silk, cotton, and trade or fashion. The point here is that you got to make sure your paper has a purpose. Your paper needs to prove a point. You're not just describing something or writing a narrative. You have to prove a point. When the reader finishes reading your paper, you don't want them to say, well, so what? What's the big deal? You want to say, so therefore, Egyptian cotton had a greater impact, whatever it is that you're arguing. So what we do is we break this assignment down into 4 steps. Otherwise, it's too overwhelming to try to handle all at once. The first step is to choose your topic, and you'll just write a little proposal explaining what you're planning to write about. So you can write your thesis statement, and you'll hand that in as one assignment. That's research paper assignment 1. The second step, a little while after that, is think about your topic, start to look for sources, and create an outline for your paper, how you're going to map it out. You'll start with your argument in your first sentence, your introduction, and then think about your main paragraphs and the evidence that you're going to put in each paragraph that supports your thesis, and then a conclusion at the end. You'll see in the assignment for research part 2 that there are a lot of guidelines for the outline for you to follow. The third step is you're going to write a bibliography, and that'll be in Chicago style formatting. That goes in alphabetical order by author's last name. And under each of the sources that you list, books and articles, you're going to write down what it is, what part of the paper you're going to use this source for. If you list a book in your bibliography, right below that, you're going to say, I will use this book to prove, X, whatever it is you're going to use that source for. That's an annotated bibliography. You're literally writing notes, annotating each source to say what you're going to use it for. After that, you have an option here to submit a rough draft of your paper. It's got to be at least 4 pages. And you'll get a lot of extra credit points for that and a lot of feedback. So I strongly encourage you to do this if you have any issues with writing or with the course in general, just to raise your grade and to get some feedback. And the fourth part of the assignment is the completed paper. So how do we go about this? And we can start here in the research paper info section of the course menu. There is a list of research topic ideas. If you click on that, you'll see it's a little bit tough to read right here in Blackboard, but there is a PDF that you can download. So the key points are, as I already stated, textbooks, encyclopedias, and Wikipedia are not sources. You cannot use those. You cannot use foot binding in China as a topic, and you cannot write about human sacrifice with Aztec and Maya. There are way too many papers on those two out there. So many students write about those every semester that I don't want to read about it anymore. I don't want anybody researching it anymore. Just let it go and find a different topic. I urge you to click on this PDF link at the top and you'll see a list that's a lot easier to read than this list that's right here in Blackboard. So this is kind of what it looks like if you look at the PDF, and this is just a little example here. You could say, formulate a thesis that answers a question about how the biography of the adventures of Catalina D'Oroso helps shed light on the role of women in Spanish America. So if you choose topic number 10, what would you do with that? Well, you could go back to the research paper section of the menu, click on your JSTOR article database, and that takes you right to our library's website where you will already be logged into JSTOR because it's connected to our course. So from the course, click on JSTOR, you're all logged in and you're good to go. You type in your search terms, Catalina D'Oroso, and you can narrow this down by item type. It makes your life a little bit easier if you just select articles and books. And in a topic like this, where you know a lot of the papers might be in Spanish, you can refine the language down to English or whatever language you're most comfortable reading in. Then click your search button. Then you'll see JSTOR will return a list of books or articles, typically articles, because it is an article database, and you can look through those to find if there's anything that interests you. Once you find something you like, you can download the PDF, or you can create a little JSTOR account of your own and add it to your list. If you are going to take more history courses or other courses that require database research, you might want to go ahead and make the JSTOR account and add things to your list because you'll be able to find them later on. So you can see up here, this is showing 1 to 10 of 10, and these might not be articles that appeal to you or that you think are going to help you out in your paper. If that's the case, then go ahead, go back to the research paper info on the menu and take a look in Google Scholar. I do urge you to look in both places to find your sources. You can see Google Scholar. Again, here you can make a little Google account. You can have a library of things. My citations would be what if you have a published paper and people cite you, you'd find them there. But you can get updates about search terms that you're looking for. There's all kinds of stuff you can do up here if you will be doing more research later on at GCC, or if you're transferring to a four-year school or going on for a master's. But if you just want to research this thing and get it over with, type in Catalina D'Oroso and Spanish American women. And then you could choose articles. Now you can see up here we got about 727 results. That's a little bit better. Well, it's a lot better than we found in JSTOR. So this, to me, this seems a lot more helpful for this particular subject. Depending on your subject matter, JSTOR might suit you more or Google Scholar. And here you can see they're talking about books, they're talking about articles, and you can click on links, follow through, and do whatever it is you have to do. If you're clicking on these links and you can't get a hold of the book, or you don't have access to the article for some reason, go back to our course in the main menu, down toward the bottom to the Find Help Here section. Click on the GCC Library Help and use the Ask a Librarian function to get some help from our librarians. The people who work in our library would love to help you, that you're not bothering them if you ask them research questions. They want to help you. They're there for you. They can help you with finding good sources. They can help you with finding information on Chicago style or any other part of your research paper that you're having trouble with. If you're having trouble writing, then go ahead and use this online tutoring info, and you can work with a writing tutor. If you have questions about the paper, if there's something I haven't addressed here, and you just want to run ideas past somebody else, you can use the student lounge. That would be a generic question that would apply to the whole class. Or if you just want to talk to me one-on-one, you can use the messages here in the course menu. All right, so I hope that helps you guys, and let me know. Thanks.